Desperate times call for desperate measures. Have you ever heard that statement before? Hey revolutionary people, thank you so much for joining me for another revolutionary seed, where you get a seed of wisdom and love to help you to grow in your faith, help you to stay more positive, and to help you grow as an individual. Today's revolutionary seed is titled A Difference with Prayer. We pick up this week with the second video of our 3-part series called Be Different. If you haven't watched the first video yet, I highly recommend it. I'll link it in the description box down below or at the top of the screen right now. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Have you ever heard that statement before? Hopefully in desperate times, we're doing more than desperate actions. In that case, sometimes these desperate actions might lead us down the path that we don't want to be on. I'd like to say desperate times call for desperate prayers. In any situation, prayer should not be our last choice. And even though we know this, sometimes we still do that. But prayer should always be our first choice. In last week's video, I brought up that God makes all things possible. Since we know this, that should point us to go to God first in prayer. You ever planned something and it doesn't go the way at all you expected it to? I've experienced this many times before. One time when I was younger, I decided to buy a used car. It was pretty cheap and in my price range, but the only thing I didn't know was that I was buying a lemon car, meaning that there were several things wrong with it to affect its use and its value. I guess you could say I ended up with what I paid for. I ended up spending more money trying to fix it than I ended up spending on buying it. And in many circumstances, I ended up finding myself praying to God, God, please help me to get a new car. It didn't even have to be new. It just could be newer and used, but better than the one that I had. On the last day that I drove it, there was something going on with it. I called my mechanic up and asked him if I could bring it into the shop. And he ended up agreeing. So when it was time to take it out of the driveway, I tried to reverse it, but it wouldn't even work. With help, the car was put in neutral and the car had to be pushed out of the driveway. And when the car started, it was so slow. It seemed like the engine was revving, yet it wasn't doing much of anything. The problem was that I didn't have any money to pay for the towing. But what I did have was the faith that God would get me to the mechanic. Slowly but surely, I ended up making it to the mechanic. But all the way, the whole time, I fervently prayed. I didn't care how I looked to anybody looking on. I kept praying, God, please just get me to the mechanics. When I parked it at the mechanics, I gave the key to the mechanic and he tried to move the car into the bay. However, the car didn't start. The thing was that God got me to the mechanic, and as soon as I got there and parked it, it just stopped working altogether. Right there, God answered my prayers, which was to make it to the mechanics. Not only that I made it to the mechanics, it just so happened that the mechanic had another car for sale that was used and in better condition that I was able to buy and drive off the lot with. Doors can open with our prayers. I was seeking God and He opened up more than I even asked for at the moment, which was only to get there at the mechanics. It was God remembering that I prayed for another car, even though that prayer wasn't said that specific day. This reminds me of the verses that can be found in Luke chapter 11, verses 9 and 10 in the New International Version Bible. It says, "So I say to you, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, and the one who knocks, the door will be opened." God is our provider. You can go to Him and ask. Seek Him in your time of need and always. And He may even open doors that you didn't even know were available. After all, He's the one who can open up doors that no man can open. I know that some people listening might have a hard time believing this because of the things that they have gone through in the past. Maybe somebody was supposed to be there for you, but they weren't, so it's hard to trust. I get that, but God isn't man that He should lie. He says that He will never leave you or forsake you, and His love is greater than that of any on this earth. And I pray that you grow to know this. Prayers, as I said, can open doors, create change, solve problems, bring peace of mind, and so much more. If you're experiencing desperate times or even just living day to day, let's go to God first in prayer. Life may or may not be easy, but I can tell you from experience that there is a difference with prayer. And in this way, we can be different. May this message bless you and help you to grow in your relationship with Christ. Thanks to my loyal subscribers and to those who watch my videos. I appreciate you. Make sure you stay tuned to next Sunday to watch my next one. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so that you're staying up to date. Drop a comment down below. Tell me what was your biggest take, what was your biggest blessing from this video. And as always, I appreciate you. Remember, every single day is a new opportunity to do better than your last. Be revolutionary.